Welcome to another episode of Shot in the Dark. I am your host, John Siino Evil here. Let's get right down to it. First of all, excuse me if my voice is a little raspy. Just a little under the weather. Had a rough couple days. So, AEW Dark Elevation. This is the show that was at Arthur Ashe Stadium before Dynamite and Rampage. So only 3 matches here. I was live in attendance for this, so I didn't catch the people's names, so it's a good thing I went ahead and rewatched it here, because the first match, Thunder Rosa defeated Kayla Sparks with the Fire Thunder Driver. Sparks making her AEW debut. She actually stopped wrestling back in 2007 and just had a comeback this year, so good to see her here. The next match was Dark Order. John Silver, Alex Reynolds, Alan 5 Angels, and 10 defeated the team of TJ Crawford, Eric James, Kevin Tibbs, and Dean Alexander. Tibbs is making his debut. He's wrestled on SmackDown and 205 Live. And Crawford also making his debut, who has been seen on Impact. Fun quick match here, with 10 making James submit to the full Nelson. And the last match, Paul Wight defeated CPA, VSK, and RSP, Ricky Shane Page, in a 3-on-1 handicap match. The Gun Club came out during this match to watch Paul Wight, but Wight knocks out RSP and then pins CPA and VSK after a double chokeslam. And then they kind of ended the show with a couple interviews from after Grand Slam, from Britt Baker, MJF, Bryan Danielson, the Men of the Year, Eddie Kingston, Homicide, Brian Pillman Jr., Ortiz, Paul Wight, and the Acclaimed. And they even showed the rap battle between Max Caster and Tony Khan, where Tony brought out Little Uzi Vert to come and help him win the battle. Tuesday's AEW Dark. This is from AEW Universal, as they kept calling it now. The show starts with Santana Garrett. You might remember her from NXT. She's making her AEW debut, saying that this place looks pretty familiar, alluding to her time in TNA, and that she's happy to be here, but Diamante interrupts her and says that they should have a match next week, and they get into a little brawl. Thunder Rosa defeated Nikita Knight, making her debut with the Peruvian necktie. Private Party defeated the team of Carly Bravo and JDX. Private Party pins Bravo after the gin and juice. Kiera Hogan, who is now officially signed to AEW, as they said, defeated Layla Gray with a roundhouse kick. 10 defeated Brandon Gore easily with the full Nelson. Cezar Bononi and Adrian Jaoude, the former Arturo Ruas from NXT, making his debut here. They teamed up here, no wingmen. They had a Brazilian connection here. They defeated the team of Jake St. Patrick and Ryzen, with Bononi getting the pin on Ryzen. So, obviously with them in Universal Studios in Orlando, you might be seeing a lot more former NXT names here that they're in the Florida region. Lance Archer defeated Arjun Singh in 15 seconds with the blackout. This is funny because he pretty much beat him up outside of the ring the entire time, and then once the bell rang, he just finished the match. Ricky Starks, a record of 12-2, defeated Darius Lockhart with a spear. A really good 9-minute match. Lockhart's making his debut, but he's a name I've been hearing a lot about. Very good up-and-coming wrestler. He's been wrestling in the Indies since 2014. Evil Uno and Stu Grayson with a record of 22-6 defeated Adrian Alanis and Liam Gray from the Skulk. Evil Uno gets the pin on Gray after a PK piledriver combo. Julia Hart defeated Rekka Tahaka with a running bulldog. Bear Country defeated Jameson Ryan and Brick Aldridge after Bear Bronson pins Ryan with a cannonball in the corner. Beer Boulder showed a little bit of an injury here. I know he just came back from injury. Hopefully he's okay. I did see that he did wrestle after this event at some indie shows, so it looks like he's okay. And the main event, Dante Martin and Matt Sydal defeated the team of QT Marshall and Aaron Solo of the Factory. Crazy fast-moving match here. Even at one spot, Martin and Sydal, they hit like these in-stereo moonsaults from the top of the stage. Pretty impressive looking. But Martin gets the pin on Solo after a springboard moonsault. We move on over to NXT UK, where we get the final semi-final match of the Heritage Cup #1 Contender Tournament, as Wolfgang defeated Teoman. Wolfgang gets the first pin in round 1 with a twisting suplex. Teoman comes back in round 3 with a sliding forearm, but Wolfgang gets the second pin and the win in round 4 after a spear, and will go on to face Noam Dar in the finals. Blair Davenport has a quick video telling Sid Scala to be smart and to reinstate her, or bad things will continue to happen. We go to Subculture, who's about to go take some photos, and they notice that their set got vandalized with graffiti by, it looks like, Sam Gradwell, because he spray painted the word Yog. Gallus are seen celebrating in Jordan Devlin's dressing room. He comes in, he gets pissed off, and then he gets kicked out of his own dressing room. Ginny defeated Isla Dawn with a facebuster off the second rope, and a little bit of help and distraction from Joseph Connors. Danny Luna is seen working out from earlier in this week, and Zaya Brookside comes out and challenges her and says that she has the strength, but does she have the speed? We get another video of Charlie Dempsey showing him in action. He's also studying wrestling, wrestling books and wrestling tapes, and says that he is coming next week. Trent Seven is seen talking to Ashton Smith and Oliver Carter, and he makes a little bit of a friendly challenge with them two facing off against Moustache Mountain next week. They made that match official, as well as Jordan Devlin versus Joe Coffey. In the main event, number one contendership triple threat match as A-Kid defeated Nathan Frazer and Rampage Brown. Fantastic 16-minute match here. Definitely recommend it. The finish came with A-Kid pinning Frazer after a German suplex and a jumping kick. So we are going to get A-Kid versus Ilya Dragunov, and I cannot wait for that match. NWA Powerrr starts with Tim Storm interviewing Thomas Latimer, Chris Adonis, and Camille of Strictly Business. Tom Latimer gets in his face about asking questions, and then Storm goes into the ring and says they can take it in there. And then Nick Aldis, also Strictly Business, runs out and stops Strictly Business from putting their hands on Storm. So pretty interesting here. Melina comes out and says that one of these days she will take out Camille, and Camille is not invincible. And then Chelsea Green comes in her hot mess mode, carrying her trophy that she won a couple weeks ago, and says that she deserves to be champion. Hawks Irie, the team of Luke Hawks and PJ Hawks, defeated the team of Colby Corino and JTG, with PJ Hawks pinning Corino after a double team suplex. We get a quick promo from Sion where he talks about wanting to win the TV title from Tyrus and says that he will challenge him on December 4th at Hard Times 2. So we go to Austin Idol, who's with Tyrus, Black Cheese, and Jordan Clearwater. They respond and say that they will take Sion out and take his mask off. And then Tyrus says that he looked in Sion's eyes and he thinks that he knows who he is. So pretty interesting here. I gotta do a little bit of digging, but I wonder if it's somebody who might have been in the same season of NXT as Tyrus when he was Brodus Clay. But I've been thinking the same thing. He definitely looks familiar, but I can't put my finger on who it is. Match number 2 saw Genocide defeated Allison Kay with a roll-up after Lady Frost came out and distracted Kay. Now, as a result of this, Paola Blaze and Genocide will get a tag team title shot against the Hacks of Allison Kay and Marty Bell. May Valentine interviewed La Rebellion and asked who they would rather face, The End or Hawks Irie. They said it doesn't matter, and they are taking those titles to Mexico. This is a little confusing because the tournament hasn't finished yet, but I wonder if this might have aired out of order because they kind of made it seem like The End and Hawks Irie are the two finalists of this, and we're still have about 4 teams, so not sure exactly what's going on here. We might have gotten spoiled. Judias versus James Storm, it pretty much ended in a no contest after both of these competitors were ignoring the referee. And the main event was a triple threat tag team match as the Pope and Trevor Murdoch defeated the teams of Crimson and Jeremiah Plunkett and The End, with the Pope pinning Plunkett after running knees to the face. Jax Dane comes out and he goes to cash in his title shot that he won against Trevor Murdoch, but Crimson goes ahead and stops him as the show ends. 205 Live, or 2.05 Live? It's been a little bit different recently, a little bit change of direction. It's been more of like a B show for NXT, but if they continue this way, I think they definitely have to change the name. Call it something else. Obviously, people on the show are not 205 Live. As first match, Zion Quinn defeated Only Lorcan with a ripcord forearm. Made quick work of him in a couple minutes. This is the first match for Lorcan back on 205 since September of 2020, and these two ended up having a rematch on this week's NXT. Ikemen Jiro defeated Malik Blade with the Eichmann Splash, and the main event, Ember Moon defeated Cora Jade with the Eclipse. Very good 7-minute match here. We have another episode of New Japan Pro Wrestling Strong from the Fighting Spirit Unleashed show. On this show, Yuji Nagata and Uemura defeated Kevin Knight and DKC. This is Uemura's strong debut. Nagata makes Kevin Knight submit to the crossface. The second match was Jay White defeating Wheeler Yuta with the Switchblade after a very intense 11-minute match. Definitely recommend this match as well. After the match, Jay White calls out Tomohiro Ishii. And then Ishii comes out and Jay White leaves and says he doesn't want to fight him. And then he comes back in, he hits a low blow and the Blade Runner on Ishii. So it looks like we will be getting this match soon on Strong. And the main event, Ren Narita defeated Fred Rosser with a roll-up in a 15-minute match. Very good. The ending was a little bit funky, I guess you could say. Fred Rosser looked like he wasn't panned, or he did kick out. So he does kind of dispute the finish a little bit after. Ring of Honor this week, we have a Pure Rules match as Brian Johnson defeated PJ Black with the process and a little bit of cheating. This was treated as a student and teacher type of match. And the Four Corner Survival, Brody King defeated Jay Lethal, Kenny King, and Shane Taylor, with Brody King pinning Taylor after a big lariat. WWE main event, we saw Cedric Alexander defeated Lince Dorado. Interesting here, Lince Dorado actually came out solo. No mention of Gran Metalik. I know there's been rumors of maybe Gran Metalik being a little bit unhappy and wanting to leave. I personally think that's great. I would love to see Gran Metalik in a NWA or a MLW or even an Impact. Definitely MLW. I feel like they've been going that route. Obviously with Aztec Underground, I can see him kind of shining there. So yeah, Cedric beat Lince Dorado and Karrion Kross defeated Ricochet. Speaking of MLW really quick, if you guys haven't seen, they have returned back on YouTube for the Alpha series, which is like a mini series, I guess you can say. They did in the past show the Battle Riot in its totality, but they are showing the rest of their tapings from Philadelphia way back when I attended the shows. So the first show is up on YouTube. Every Wednesday they put a show up, and I do have reports on PulseWrestling.com if you want to check it out. And Karrion Kross defeated Ricochet was the second match on Main Event. The WWE Network editions of the week, we have our usual ICW Fight Club episode, but then we got 5 episodes of WXW. They just kind of loaded a whole bunch of episodes that they taped in the last year or so. Included the Fans Appreciation Night 1 and Night 2, Shortcut to the Top, We Love Wrestling 21, and the 20th Anniversary Show, which is interesting because it actually featured a Alexander Wolf, or the man formerly known as Alexander Wolf, Axel Tischer. After he got released from WWE, he did go back to WXW, where he is best known for, and he did wrestle on this show, so if you want to check him out, it's on the WWE Network. That is it for me this week. Again, I apologize for my voice. I did survive almost to 15 minutes. You can catch me this week on MCU Later with WH Park and Wei Ting, talking about episode 8 of What If. And yeah, go back and support Up Next and Be the Elite from last week. I popped up on that as well, recording the review of AEW Grand Slam. So if you haven't heard that, definitely check it out. That is it for me this week. You guys can catch me here next week for another episode of Shot in the Dark.